Before we begin, it is very important to say what teaching reading is not. If a teacher goes into a classroom and asks children to open their books and read a text, there is no teaching going on. She is testing the pupil's ability to read. Similarly, many teachers believe that pupils should read texts aloud before they begin to answer questions on the text. And reading aloud is a very common practice in the classroom, but it is wrong for three reasons. Firstly, reading is a skill which is silent. So we should be promoting silent reading in the classroom. Secondly, reading aloud puts a child into a very exposed position because she is standing up and reading aloud in front of her peers. And if she makes a mistake, then she will feel bad. So this is the second reason why reading aloud is not good practice. And the third reason is that it is possible to read aloud without understanding what we are reading. So how do we teach reading? The first thing we have to do is prepare the children for the text they are going to read. In Oxford Gateway Reader 3, Lesson 17, there is a poem by Tagore. It involves a child who cannot understand why you cannot just catch the moon in your hands because it looks so small. It is very important to establish the idea of perspective, that something far away looks very small, but the same thing up close looks much bigger. You can see this is done in the text by offering two pictures. There is a picture of a cat in front of the house, and because the cat is far away, it looks very small. Then there is another picture with the cat much closer, so that it looks very big. Its head is covering half the house. So once the children have looked at this, they are then in a position to understand the concept which is in Tagore's poem, and it will make understanding the text that much easier. This is the purpose of the pre-reading task. So the first way of preparing the children or scaffolding the reading process is through visuals. And particularly in the early books, the teacher should discuss the pictures that accompany the text before starting reading. Another way of preparing children to read is by getting them to think of some of the vocabulary items that are likely to appear in the text. In Oxford Gateway Reader 3, Lesson 9, the story is about a circus coming to town with a very special elephant. In order to prepare the children for reading the story, the pre-reading activity is: have you ever been to a circus? What things might you hear at a circus? List 5 things. What things might you see? List 5 things. Here we are trying to elicit in advance some of the key words that the children will meet in the text itself. The pre-reading activity can be made much more effective if the children are encouraged to discuss their answers in pairs or in small groups before answering the questions in the class. This provides them with the possibility to interact and improve their fluency, and it also helps build up the confidence of some children who might be less willing to speak aloud. It is even better if the teacher asks the pupils to note down some of their answers as they are performing the task. In this way, the teacher can walk around the classroom and see very easily which groups are performing the tasks simply by looking at the writing that they have done. As regards the reading itself, it is important that the children learn to read texts silently and efficiently, and we recommend the following procedure. First, the teacher reads the text aloud slowly and clearly while the class follows silently in their books. Second, then the teacher asks the pupils to read the text again silently and then complete the first post-reading question, read-write question 1, working in pairs or small groups. Thirdly, the teacher then goes over the answer with the pupils. Fourthly, the teacher then proceeds through the other questions, read-write questions 2 onwards, in the same way. If appropriate, at the very end, the teacher can ask pupils to read the text aloud once they have completed all the questions and are very familiar with the text, in order to find specific bits of information. It is important that the children learn to begin how to summarize a story or a poem, to say what the story or poem is about. There is always a question which asks them to choose the sentence that best summarizes the story or poem. And such repeated practice is necessary if we want to build up the skill of summarizing.